There were some features of our script from last time that I'd like to talk more about. So it's the exact same one I wrote last time, this my script. Okay, I can access it by double-clicking over here. This is our first time using the current folder section of the home screen. So this is where the functions and scripts that we write, the M files that we write, are stored. So the two aspects of this script that I'd like to talk about are the clear at the beginning and the fact that I ended all of these with semicolons. So let me delete these semicolons and see what changes. And MATLAB is giving me a little warning right now. You can see that it's highlighting these in orange and underlining them in red. And what's the warning? It says terminate statement with semicolon to suppress output within a script. Okay, so let's just save this. And now I'm going to run it. Remember, you run it by typing the name of the script without the .m. And let me contrast this to what happens if there are semicolons. Okay, we don't really need one after the clear. Okay, now I'm going to run it. I'll get the command by hitting the up arrow. Okay, so the big difference is that every line that doesn't end with a semicolon that produces some sort of output, like the A equals or B equals lines, those get printed to the screen. And so if we have a long, complicated script with lots of commands, it's going to be really annoying if all of those get produced onto the screen, especially when we're doing loops, like for loops, which will make it really easy to do the same command a lot of times. Then it's going to be much better to end the lines with a semicolon so that it just goes from the execution command, my script, to the next line without any of the intermediate steps getting printed. So that's what the semicolons do. Pretty easy. And the rule of thumb is end every line with a semicolon in your scripts and your functions, unless you have some very specific reason not to end it with a semicolon. So next thing I want to talk about is this clear. Let me delete this clear and see what changes. So let me try running it again. Okay, seemed to run fine. Let me type, how about D equals 8? Okay, now there's a D equals 8. And now instead of having C equals A times B, let me have C equals A times B times D. Okay, so I've done that. I have saved it. Now I'm back in the command window, and I'm going to run my script again. Okay, and that worked. And notice that the old value of C, which used to be 30, now it's 30 times 8. Now it's 240. Okay, that's fine. Now let me show you what happens if I put the clear back in. Okay, the semicolon isn't so important there, but I'm in the habit of doing it. So I typed that out, and then I saved it. Now I'm going to run my script again. Okay, and I got an error. And so the problem with it, and this is something that's different between scripts and functions. Scripts have access to variables that are defined in the command window or that are stored in the workspace. Functions will not. So that D that I had before, without the clear, my script was able to use that value of D. But now that I start my script with clear, that's like saying get rid of everything that's in the command window, get rid of everything that's in the workspace. Then just you're starting from scratch. A equals 10, B equals A minus 7, C equals A times B times D. Okay, but at this point, MATLAB has no idea what D is because of this clear command. And so that's why we get this error message. Error, undefined function or variable D. So you might think clear is bad because that got us the error message. But this is actually really good because when you're turning in your scripts or your functions, I guess here it's just about the scripts, I'm not going to have access to anything in your workspace or your command window. So sometimes somebody can turn in a script and they think it works perfectly, but really it's not going to work perfectly when I get it, because when I get it, I'm going to have my own variables in the workspace. And maybe you had a variable D stored in the workspace, but I don't know about that variable. All I know about is what's in the M file that you turned in to me. So it's a very good rule of thumb that unless you have some specific reason not to, and especially for things that you turn in for your homeworks, you should start your scripts with clear, just so that your script isn't secretly dependent on something in your workspace.